Hey everyone, happy Monday. It's time for a pocket with Joe here on the Sports Grid TV. I hope everyone had an excellent weekend. If you joined me yesterday, we had great success on those first periods with them cashing nicely. We've only got one game on the slate in the NHL today, but still an opportunity to make some money. But don't worry if you're missing a lot of action in hockey tomorrow. We will have 16 games, so a longer show tomorrow, but short one here today. Let's kick off with the first game and the only game here between the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres. Now, this one we have a total of 6.5, juiced to that over at minus 134. And there's a reason why this one is juiced to that over. The Buffalo Sabres in their last game out finally had that offensive production that we were really counting on. They're able to get 3 goals on the New York Islanders, a team that doesn't allow a lot of goals, that their core really is their defense. Looking at Montreal here, this is a young, a scrappy team that's able to put those points up on the board, get those goals, averaging 3.25 goals per game on 29 shots on goal. And defensively, giving up those goals as well, allowing 3.25 goals per game and 35 shots on goal. So we know the Buffalo Sabres are going to have lots of opportunity to connect with the back of Jake Allen's goal today. He is sitting at a 3.33 goals against average with a save percentage of 0.907. He has been pretty solid in a lot of these games. Looking at the last one out versus Washington, he did save 31 of 33 shots on him. Versus Toronto in that first game out, he allowed those goals to come in. He saved 37, though, of 42 shots. I expect the Buffalo Sabres to be able to really get a lot of shots on him today. So this over is where I'm going to go. We look at them versus the Islanders, and they were able to put up 43 shots on goal with their offense finally getting that open up game that we wanted. Tage Thompson really had a phenomenal one in that last game, 10 shots on goal. Rasmus Darlene also coming out really strong in that game as well. So while he was limited in his shots, he made such an impact defensively. I do like this one to the over 6.5. That's where I'm going to go first. When I go over the 6.5, I also like looking at that first period. The period over 1.5, it's juiced so at minus 148, and those lines are moving. So the both teams to score in the first period, something I love playing around with. That's coming in at plus 152. I do think both of these teams can score in that first period. Eric Comrie coming in a net here for the Buffalo Sabres, though, was so elite in that game versus the Islanders, only allowing that one goal. But on 25 shots on goal, this is a Montreal Canadiens team that will come out stronger offensively. And I think Comrie will let some of those goals in. When I look at the schedule here for both of these teams, this is the first night of a back to back for both. So Montreal has had to travel here. They will go back home to face the Devils in their next game tomorrow. Looking at the Buffalo Sabres, they have a hard set of games on deck. So they play today and then they have to go to Ottawa tomorrow to face the Ottawa Senators. And after that, they are back home to face the New Jersey Devils and then the Colorado Avalanche. I think they've got this harder schedule ahead of them, especially with a road trip, a 2-game road trip on deck. I think that really gives us an advantage here for the Montreal Canadiens, and they're a huge underdog coming into this one. Now, if you like them plus the 1.5, the plus 1.5, you're laying so much juice at minus 152. You guys know that is out of where I like to go on that juice. If this was closer to minus 140, if you can find that out there, I would be looking at that. But at minus 152, I just can't get there. But that straight up money line at plus 158, I do think is worth a sprinkle for the Montreal Canadiens. When we look at them matched up versus the Buffalo Sabres last season, they did take this series, winning 2 of those 3 matchups. The last one being a 4-3 style win for the Montreal Canadiens. And I can see that happening again. This team is so young and talented out there, and they are digging deep in all of these games. We saw what they were able to do in that first game versus Toronto. And while they did lose that game, you have to look at this never give up attitude out of this Montreal Canadiens team and how they were able to come back in that game, even though down. So they're not going to give up. They're not going to stop fighting in this game. The over 6.5 corresponds with the Montreal Canadiens digging deep in this game and being possibly able to pull off the win. I think if you're looking at Buffalo here, you've got to expect this one probably to stay under that total, with them doing enough in goaltending and defensive wise to shut down the Montreal Canadiens. Looking at the penalty minutes in this one, Montreal needs to play a cleaner game, but I'm not too worried about Buffalo on that power play. Looking at the Buffalo Sabres on the power play, they're only converting on 6.3%. One of their 16 power plays have they been able to score that goal. So I'm not worried. Montreal is the most penalized team in the whole league, though, you guys. They spend over a period in the penalty box, averaging 23.8 minutes in the penalty box per game. So that needs to definitely be cleaned up here tonight versus the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres on the power play, or sorry, on the penalty kill have been phenomenally strong. The fourth overall on the league at 49.7%. So Montreal needs to clean it up. And if they clean it up, I think they have the opportunity to get that win in this game. You guys, it's time to make some freaking money today. Let's do this. It's going to be a great game. And yeah, plenty of opportunities, make some money. Like I said, let's do a same game. Shot on goal parlay here. There's 4 guys I'm going to target in this one. It's coming in at plus 502. Now, I talked about Tage Thompson here for the Buffalo Sabres, coming off those 10 shots on goal versus the New York Islanders, who have such a better defense here than the Montreal Canadiens. So I am going to take him. We can get him 4+ shots on goal. Now, I just want to look here because I do take a little bit more juice on the same game parlay shots on goal props than I would to bet this separately. So I just want to get that number for you. It's minus 148 here for Tage Thompson for that 4+ shots on goal that I'm throwing into the parlay. Outside of the parlay, I would take him for the 5+ shots on goal. That's coming in at plus 150. So outside of this, I'd also look at Tage Thompson for that anytime goal as well. We're getting great value on him. Just looking over here at FanDuel right now, Tage Thompson for the anytime goals coming in at plus 125. So lots of value in that one. The next one I'm going to look at here is Jeff Skinner. Skinner has been another player that has been so impactful for the Buffalo Sabres. He's been solid with 4 shots on goal in the last 2 games. Prior to that, he had a couple of 5-shot on goal games. Putting him into this parlay, though, I'm going to drop him down to the 3+ shots on goal. I still think within this parlay, there's value. Outside of this parlay, I would bump him up. Now, I'm going to look at a darling in here for the Buffalo Sabres as well. Rasmus Dahlin coming in at 3+ shots on goal. He's a defensive player, but a defensive player that is able to get a lot of shots right from that blue line. He really steps up in these games. And versus the Islanders, we saw him make such an impact defensively, but he wasn't able to get those shots on goal as their defense was all over him. I expect in this game for him to be able to get over 3 shots on goal. And I'm just looking at those odds right now. With inside the parlay, I like it. Outside of the parlay, you're going to have to take him. Let me just see where it is. Actually, 3+ shots on goal. This is the one that you can bet in and outside the parlay at that number at minus 114. It's really great value for him there. He was held to those limited shots on goal in the last game, but in the ones prior, he had 4 shots on goal, 3-3-3. So he's been very strong out there. And then looking at the Montreal Canadiens, who's going to get these shots on goal? I will look at Caulfield here. Can never say his name right. He's been firing for Montreal so strong. 5 shots on goal in all of his 3 games. Last 3 games he's played, those 5 shots coming in. So you can take him in this one, 3+ shots on goal as well. So those 4 players, everyone is at 3 shots on goal except for Tage Thompson. So again, Tage Thompson, Jeff Skinner, Cole Caulfield, and Rasmus Dahlin all coming in here, parlayed together. Everyone except Tage Thompson at 3 shots on goal, Tage Thompson at 4+ shots on goal at plus 502. So a lot of value there. This one absolutely has a chance of going to OT. Do these teams want to go to overtime? Absolutely not, because they know they have another game tomorrow on deck. So they're going to want to get these games finished and over with. But I do think the value is all on Montreal, the team who did take this series last season, able to get 2 of the 3 wins. So I think they have every chance to pull it off. I also think with the schedule ahead of them, the Ottawa Senators on deck here for Montreal at home. Yes, or sorry, the Ottawa Senators on deck. Yeah, it's for Montreal. And then Ottawa plays then Buffalo. So lots of moving pieces here. But I think when you look at the Buffalo Sabres, they have a harder schedule ahead of them. And I think it will get a little bit of ahead of them, especially in the third period of this one, knowing the opponents they have on deck, that they will overlook maybe the Montreal Canadiens a little bit because a weaker team here in a rebuild this season, but this team never gives up. So, you guys, all the best in all of your bets. We will be back tomorrow live at 5:30 Eastern, and we'll have 16 games to go over. So it's going to be a lot. Everyone watching over on IG Live, make sure you do go over to Sports Grid TV X. You can rewatch shows there. I will bookmark all the shows tomorrow as well. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Let me know what you are betting, and make sure you hit that like button, hit that retweet button. I appreciate it so much. All the best, you guys.